many folks in here are leaders? How many folks in here want to be leaders?
How are you, Joe?
I got to share this with a story. In our post last week, they was talking about helping people with scholarship. And they said, well, what kind of scholarships are we going to be involved in? Bachelor's degrees, associate's degrees, master's degrees? I said, I'm applying for a non-associated degree.
Yeah.
They said, Butch, I don't think we've ever heard of a non-associated degree. What is that? I said, effective tomorrow, I'm not going to be associated with any of you. Hopefully that's not the case. Last Wednesday, I got asked if I'd come in and put together a package to basically help people that wants to be post commanders, that are already post commanders, on leading your post to success. I've been here the last 3 days and I hear about all the failures that people are having at post. I do know for a fact we have a lot of posts in the states doing good work and they have great leadership in post. We have a lot of post commanders out there that can share this knowledge with other people in their, not only in their posts, but other posts. They help those posts be successful as well. So the next few minutes we're going to go cover a few things. But first of all, you can't be anything, you can't lead anyone if you don't know anything about leadership. So the next few minutes we're going to call, what is the definition of leadership as it applies to the Legion? The basic leadership qualities, skills and knowledge needed to be a post commander duties, a suggested leadership action plan for post commanders, and a formula for your post to succeed now and in the future. Let's take a look at leadership. I looked all these definitions up. The first one I got out of the book. Leadership is a process by which a person influences others to accomplish an objective and directs the organization in a way that makes it more cohesive and coherent. After our meetings today, I know we're very cohesive. But then I said to Doc, I need to put some kind of definition together that we can use in the Legion that makes it more applicable to us. So I came up with this definition. In the Legion, leadership can be best defined as the ability of the officers and chairs to make good decisions, influence, encourage, and mentor other members to carry out their duties in a timely, proper manner to achieve the goals of the American Legion at all levels of the organization. Some basic qualities. You need to be able to inspire leaders' qualities. You've got to be able to inspire action, mentoring others, be optimistic, have integrity, support and facilitate the team, have confidence, communicate, and be decisive. I could say here 500 other qualities you could be a leader, but the catch of it is, I just picked these things up as I think they apply to the Legion. In other words, to lead a team, you've got to inspire them for the results. You cannot go into a battle zone or any kind of environment and tell your team, we're going to fail. You think that would be good? You got to make them think positive what they're doing for the end result. And you got to acknowledge each person's work and their dedication that is vital for team effort. In other words, there's no team stronger than its weakest link. So therefore, everyone should be on that team should be inspired to do well. And you commend the team for each of their efforts. You keep the spirits high. It begins with the leaders showing an appreciation of others' hard work. If you are a leader or a commander or any other leader in an organization or any business, you've got to be able to make sure that you listen to your troops and your employees and appreciate what they're doing. Mentoring. How many mentors do we have? Good. Who raised their hands again?
Yeah.
Breeze, would you come mind getting us and tell me who you mentor? And on what subjects?
What?
And on what subjects?
Well, I'm into Legionnaires on all American Legion subjects. Anytime I see somebody that may need something or they ask me a question, I'm going to give them a block of instruction on that question and whatever it may else also lead to.
Anybody else want to give a suggestion on mentoring? The reason I emphasize this, because I think this is the key to our success in any organization or any business. Because you might be good at what you do. And, you know, we have a lot of individuals in business and in any kind of capacity. What they'll do is they'll learn something, and guess what they do? It's lying. So they keep everything to themselves. But what happens as a result of that? They either die or get terminated or retire or something, and guess what? That leaves a void. But sharing information is critical for success of any organization. It produces informed and educated leaders for today and also for tomorrow. I know I hear John Spurgeon here talk about tomorrow, not yesterday or today. It allows retention of organizational goals, structure, and knowledge, and provides guidance and directions to other organizational members to assure the future growth of our organization. I think if you go through these, you will see how they apply to the American Legion. A leader must believe in the purpose of the organizational goal. You got to believe in the product which you are selling. If you do not believe in the product you're selling, it's not going to take long for people to realize that you're a problem. It's like somebody like Fred says with his Hondas. You got to brand your product, but you know what? It'd be hard for Fred to tell me that he's a Honda person when he's driving a Ford pickup. Same thing about being an American Legion. You're bragging about the American Legion and you're wearing a Boy Scout hat or some other organizational hat. You need to brand your product. And you got to believe in your team members. That's each and every member of the team. Remember, here to there. And most importantly, you've got to have a positive outlook. You got to think positive. If you don't think positive, people around you are not going to think positive. Negativism is the fastest contagious thing can happen. But you know what? Positivism can also be a very infectious agent. This is one of my favorites. Willingness to say what they do and do what they say. I do not like, if you find an industry, if you tell somebody they did something, but they don't walk the talk. You have to walk the talk. You got to lead by example. Never ask anybody on your team to do something that you will not try to do yourself. And if your team needs help, get it for them. If you don't know where, find out where. You got to encourage them even when things seem unattainable. I can directly relate that to this morning's conversation about marketing. I heard today that in the finance budget meeting, for example, that it looks bleak. The American Legion's membership and American Legion's future looks bleak. But does that mean that we have to quit as a team? You know, it is attainable. Don't ever work for an agency that you think or do a purpose you think is unattainable. Encourage the team members to inform him or her of what he or she needs to know, not what he or she wants to hear. If something good, great happens, guess what? You give that credit to who doesn't. As a former plant manager, if 60 Minutes came to my plant and they said, we're going to put you on 60 Minutes because your plant's produces the least amount of toxins in the universe and we want to congratulate you for it. I said, don't congratulate me. You need to congratulate my 2,800 employees, whatever. However, if the 60 Minutes crew shows up and says, we're here to investigate an incident where you dumped 50,000 gallons of benzene into the Trinity River, guess what? What's a good leader going to say? That's on me. Take responsibility. Have confidence. You've got to believe in you. If you don't believe in you, who else is going to believe in you? You got to be positive about their ability to lead people and deal with daily challenges. Do we have daily challenges in the American Legion? Actually, and some of us have daily challenges just commuting to work in Houston, San Antonio, Austin, and other places on the island. But you know, you got to have confidence. You got to set goals. Should goals be easily attained? in business? Did you just set easy, attainable goals?
Realistic.
No.
Realistic goals, everybody hear that? They believe in the work they do is important. Do you folks believe in the work you do is important?
Yes.
If you didn't, where would you be today on a Saturday? You wouldn't be here, would you? I sure would.
Waking up in your-
Communicate. A good leader must do one thing and do it all. Listen. You have to become the chaplain. Cedric appreciate that. Suddenly you have to become the, sort of like a sponge in your business. When people come to you, you don't look at your watch. When someone says, you know, Tom, you have a couple minutes or whatever, or Karen, you have it, and you go, well, let me see what, start walking away. Then, you gotta make time for your people in your team.
Right.
And you gotta understand their desires as well. And you ask them questions. Consider all options. And lead their team in the right direction. They welcome feedback from others and put their ideas into action. Not the individual asking, but the people who give you ideas. If it's not going to cost anything, it's not going to get anyone hurt, put those ideas in action. Because you know what? What happens when you put one individual in a leadership capacity into action, guess what that generates? Guess what other people on the team are going to do? They're going to start thinking about ideas and generates more things. So therefore, results in the fact that the team is better off in the long run and it becomes more productive. Be decisive. Don't sit on the fence, I was always told. Gather all the facts and information on a topic. Honestly consider all the alternatives. Don't dominate the process. Don't allow team input. Make it clear, yes or no decision, and fully explain. If somebody makes a decision to do something, people say, why? Don't say, well, don't worry about it. That's what's going to happen. You need to be able to explain, especially to the people who work hard to get there. Stays engaged in the execution of the decision and looks for the feedback and follows until the implementation. Some people make decisions and that's where they end up. But that's where the problems usually occur. They don't make sure they do what they say. Here's some of the things that need to be more relevant to our employees today is some of the skills and knowledge needed to be a post commander. Must be knowledgeable in the various aspects of the American Legion to include policies and procedures. Case in point is, how can you be a post commander when you don't know what Constitution and bylaws is? Does that make sense? How many people here got elected post commander and had no background about the post? Anybody here fall in that category? I did. They elected me commander and I had no clue why I got elected to. And that could be rather embarrassing. Especially when people in your post walk up to you and ask you about this and ask you about that. Alan raised this and the other show I'm talking about. You can really get yourself in trouble. And I found out right then that's not going to happen to me again. I'm going to make sure the person taking my place has some idea of what he or she's getting into. So I'm asking all you to do that as well. Must understand protocol programs and benefits of Legion membership, which is the product that we are selling to our prospective members. I think we've discussed that in every meeting this weekend, haven't we? Membership. Without membership, everything's irrelevant, right? Must have sufficient experience within the organization by having successfully worked on different committees, programs, and post activities. Do you think it's fair to put somebody in a position at a post that doesn't have the background, doesn't have the experience, if anything? Do you think it's fair to that individual?
No.
Do you think it's fair to the post? Just today, or yesterday, I found out from one district commander at a post, they show you just scary stuff. The post commander was not a member of the Legion.
Oh, hell no.
Number one. Number two, the adjutant was a member of the American Legion, but not the post that he was in. Yeah. Everybody else. And I said, that doesn't happen. And then it dawned on me, I've seen that more than once where, and it all goes about skills, knowledge needed to be a post commander. But who do I blame? Who do I blame for this individual trying to do a good job, even though he wasn't a Legionnaire? And who am I going to blame if the guy's an adjutant trying to do a good job, even though he or she was not a member of that family? Membership. Membership. Bottom line. Must have sufficient experience within the organization by having successfully worked on different committees, programs, and co-studies. Must have and be taken advantage of the multiple workshops and training sessions that are available. Where are they available? Here. I think you're stepping one. You might not think this is helpful, but this is one. You go on the website, YouTube, ALEI. How many people in here have taken the ALEI? How many people haven't taken the ALEI? Well, keep your hands up. Good, I just took a photograph of all of you. Next time I talk to you, you better have taken it. So if you haven't taken it, seriously, if you haven't taken the ALEI class, it costs you around $5. We also have, various divisions have ALEI instructors. Go online. Huh? Well, he's beyond training. I say he's beyond training. But the catch of it is ALEI it's got a lot of good information. It's also a good training resource. When you take ALEI, there's a bunch of videos on ALEI that you can download and use those for training sessions at your post or district or division or wherever. Must have a good understanding of the Department of Texas objectives. Yes, sir.
Would ALEI be a good prerequisite for somebody becoming a post commander? Yes.
Well, I don't know. I think it should be mandatory. Of course, I get voted out. But his question was, does he think the ALEI should be a good course for post commander? Go ahead.
Why? Which I could kind of answer that as far as El Paso American Legion Post 58 goes. When we wanted to push the ALEI process to everything, our executive committee and our general membership approved that in order to be an officer of our post, you must be a graduate of ALEI. It needs to be in your constitution and bylaws or something that's been approved by your post minutes.
Ours is in our constitution bylaws. But why would you want to be in charge? Why would you want, let me phrase it this way, why would you want to be in charge of an organization that you refuse to take a look at the history of it? I know when we went through basic training in the Navy and the Marine Corps, you didn't really have much of a choice about learning the history of the Marine Corps, the Navy, the Air Force, or the Army. That was sort of like day one. So you would think they use that same logic in the American Legion. So I really stress, it's not just you folks, I stress everything. And if you need ALEI training, each division has 2 ALEI instructors. Go to your division, there are 3 of us in this room, matter of fact. 4 of us, I'm sorry, Gina, that's 4 of us in this room. 5 of us actually got 5. Yeah, I keep going for everybody in be instructor, but no.
6.
6. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. 6. You got 6 ALEI instructors in this room. But you know what that tells me? At least the ALEI instructors knows the importance of training. I sat in a training meeting earlier yesterday, and all these people barking about training, and we don't have training. Where the hell are they? They're not. You know, that's what really irritates me.
What did you say? I missed what you said. What did you say?
I said yesterday in the
I
training.
know.
But I think that's important. If you're going to complain about something, don't continue with a problem. Do what? Be part of the solution. Remember I said you got to stand out in front? It's hard to come to me and say that I need training and we want training, but when training is available, you pushing training and not the room. That irritates me. Because I got asked to do this last winter. I could have said, no, I'm busy, we'll go play golf. But I think it's a training very important to train everyone. We've got a lot of young members out there that definitely need to train and to bring them on board. And by the way, a lot of those young members can train us on what they need from their side. So it's a two-way street. Like I said, must lead by example. Present a good image of the organization. Jim Prendergast, when he was commander, his motto was image. I make a good example. Now I'm going to tell you a story about riders. I don't ride motorcycles, but I know my division commander does. When Mike Helm was the commander, national commander, we got to visit Fort Hood, the largest military installation in the world. And General McDonald gave us a briefing. And he said, I have a couple of favors to ask the American Legion. And Mike Helm said, what's that? He said, first of all, they're building a new medical facility at Fort Hood. And they're leaving off a mental health unit. Does that really make any sense? Why wouldn't you have a mental health that has all these combat troops in it? And Mike said, yes, I think we can help you. And he said, the second item is the fact, he said, occasionally, unfortunately, I have to take off this fatigue uniform and put on my blues and go to the funeral of one of my troops that's been killed in Afghanistan or Iraq. Unfortunately for me, I have more KIAs than any other commander in the United States military. And he says, I go and I appreciate what motorcycle people do, the Patriot Guard and whatever. He said, I just ask one thing. Have them put on a shirt. Called respect. And not passing on to riders. You know, I know a lot of places. Sometimes I think we miss the purpose. We miss the purpose of what we're really trying to do by what people see in us. If they see someone with a Legion hat on, you'll never see me wear my Legion cover in a club room or a bar. Past National Commander Joe Matthews said, Butch, all people need is to see you with a beer in your hand, take a photograph with you with a beer or drink in your hand, with a cover on, and they take that and put in the newspaper, drunk Legionnaire. So you gotta be careful what you do. So, as a personal favor to the past National Commander Helm, Joe Matthews, I ask you that if you see people going to a funeral, just ask them to dress for it. Because, trust me, the general appreciated what they did. And he says, Butch, I'm not the only one that can. These families are, that's future members of your organization, folks. So it's all about you. Like I said, you gotta lead by example. You must have an understanding of words to get answers to questions and the solutions of problems. Boy, do we need it. I wish I could put all this in a thumb drive or whatever, because there's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of stuff in the brains of the people in this room and others. We need to get that written down and put somewhere so we get it. Because you can use, if you trip over a sidewalk, the next time you get to that sidewalk, you're going to think about not tripping on it, right? You can utilize a minute. There's hundreds and thousands of references at the department, district, everywhere. You can get all kinds of information off the web. And you can get the expertise of other legionnaires throughout the department and the country. You know, if you see somebody doing something good, say, hey, Greg, how did you do that in the 13th district? I really like that. You know, sit down and talk to people. Dave, how do you like visiting hotels and doing hotel tours in El Paso? You know, there's a lot of things out there you can do. Now, this is the key here. Now, we went through all these leaderships and skills needed to be a post commander, but what really is a post commander? Is a post commander God? Actually, a post commander is the guy that sits up and does what? He's limited by the Constitution and bylaw. How many commanders listen to that?
Very limited.
Half,
That's probably
or a little more.
presides on all meetings, controls meeting agendas. Every meeting should have what? An agenda. You know, the youngsters today, if you don't have an agenda, you get off the agenda, they get up and leave. I've got kids like that. Dad, that wasn't on the agenda. Yeah. And you send the agenda out when? You send the agenda out before the meeting, and then you tell your membership, well, we're going to have to discuss the topics. Maybe they can come prepared to talk about that topic, or they can give you other topics out. What happens when the meeting gets out of control in the last 2 hours or 3 hours?
You lose them.
Oh, hell no.
Guess what happens next month?
Then you don't have a good judge advocate.
Now, guess what happens next month when you have a meeting? Those people aren't there, right?
That's right.
And you did, the key word is general supervision of post officers and committee. What do I mean by general supervision? They appoint committees, sees that post constitution bylaws are observed, and performs other duties directed by the post. Who is the post? We are.
Membership,
Who runs the post?
membership.
And they coordinate the program with the auxiliary sons and the riders. And more, just as important, they communicate with community leaders. The post commanders should go out and make contact with the mayors and all these, and why do you do that? We go out, the community is part of our process, right? It is our process.
Selling the brand.
Now we all all that stuff, and now we've got a plan. And what I'd like for you to do, I'll go back to my first page. If you'd like a copy of this, I'll be glad to email this presentation to you. This is not an all-inclusive how to be a great post commander. A lot of times it takes a lot of bumps in the road, but I think with the tutorage of a lot of people here, a lot of these people can be very good. But let's get these young post commanders in the loop before they get out there and get swamped over, because a lot of times they'll just quit on you. But if you give them the tools to do the job, they'll do well. Get with your team, that means all your officers, committee people, and put together a written action plan for your post. Written action plan. What is your post going to do for this coming year? What is your goal tonight? Give each of your officers assignments and hold them responsible. One thing I suggest at the first meeting of the executive committee is the post commander provides each officer a copy of the constitutional bylaws, code, department, and national, gives them a current officer's plan. What our young post commander did 2 years ago, young active duty chief master sergeant, she basically passed out all these documents and she got and said the following: I'm not going to ask you about your duties this month, but next month we're going to have a test. They thought she was kidding. She had a test written out for her. What do you do, public affairs? What do you do, vice commander? And you know what? It didn't take long for those people to realize that she knew what she was talking about. And you know what? That made them learn. Gave them the initiative. Set goals and timelines. What are some of the goals of post commander, she said? What's the most important goal?
Membership.
What are some other goals?
PR, community programs.
Training.
Programs.
Program.
That's right.
Should a post do all the programs?
No.
You know, some people have the mindset that each post has got to do all the programs. You know,
No.
you can do one or two or whatever you
We
can
want
do.
the people to do them all anyway.
You're the one that picks your
But
post.
more importantly, we have a lot of posts that do how many programs?
None.
Somebody mentioned-
Zero.
One. None.
No, not even.
one.
Communicate and coordinate your action plan to all members of your post. Any action plan or any action by the executive committee and the commander should be presented to the general membership. And then that way you get membership involved. Ensure that post district division department goals are documented and tracked. I use a word here called documented. The old philosopher told me if it's not documented, it's what? It's not so. Communicate with your peers. Who do I mean by that? Do you guys have district meetings? Do you have the emails of your fellow post commanders? By the way, raise that one. How many of you district commanders have the emails of the other 22 district commanders? If you don't have them, you should get them.
Blue book.
You should have a communication network. I believe in communication. And you know, and I said that last year at the district division commander school, that you guys as district commanders could communicate and share ideas, and guess what happened? Oh, well, you're doing this in the 7th district, and you're doing this in the 20th district, you're doing this. Share ideas. Don't wait till you have a meeting in Austin. Share no ideas, put it in the hub system. We got the hub master sitting right there. Any ideas that are good can be shared by others. Don't be stingy and keep them all to yourself. mentor list. I have been to posts where the commander's been a commander for 20 years. Is that good for a puppy?
No.
Why is that good for a puppy?
Stagnant.
Stagnant?
Stagnant.
What happens if that guy dies? Or that lady dies? Post. What happens to the post a lot of times? Post dies. Mentor other posts. If you see somebody interested in your job or some other job, you don't run them away with a threat, do you?
No.
You sit them down and say, hey, this is your job for this, and if you'll follow me around like this or like that. You can actually have an assistant commander if you have somebody, I call commanders in training. Somebody's really interested in it. I know that Hector never followed Jerome around when he was commander in training for district. You got push attendance in the district, division, and department meetings. Why? Why would you want people to go to training in the district, division, and department? Why would you want to do that?
They see things that others are doing, and it might inspire them to do it themselves.
It does something even more than that. It creates a network of friends. Not just from a business side of the house. That's the way you get more comfortable in doing things, so you see other people doing it. Be proactive, be visible, be available, and be out front. It's almost an army thing, isn't it? I thought let's use somebody word. I got two of them, right? Two colonels here on the front row. I'm going to move. Always believe, never believe you're going to fail. Because what happens if you believe you're going to fail? Guess what? You will.
Fail.
So I came up with a formula. Excellent leadership qualities combined with a sound knowledge base of the American Legion, plus a thorough understanding of post commander's duties and responsibilities, plus a desire to do well, plus a good team of knowledgeable officers and chairpersons will, in most cases, equate to a successful post now and in the future. Do you agree with that formula? You can use it with occupation. Okay. Definition of leadership as it applies to the American Legion. We all covered on that? Basic leadership qualities, how will you? Everybody's going to add to, take away from? Skills, knowledge need to be a post commander. Did I leave any out? Probably. There's probably a lot more out there. Post commander's duties, sort of a limited list, but there might be some others out there. Get them out of the officers. Suggested leadership action plan for post commanders. That's just a draft. You can come up with your own. And who should come up with this to help people? Who do you think should come up with all these things? The post? How many people are in here wearing these blue and these White House have got dyed half blue? Are you guys doing this? Are you guys going and visiting your post? Are you attending these? Are you attending post meetings?
Yeah. Yeah.
Two things I heard last year which irritated me. One district commander says, I'm not going to visit any post with that unless they ask.
Oh, hell.
They said, you did that too, right? And I said, yeah, right. But the catch of it is, if you show up as a district, tell the post commander you're coming to visit and like to attend their meeting, how many of these post commanders are going to tell you no? And if they do tell you no, what does that tell you?
One dictator.
They tell you have other issues. So I don't like that excuse. Plus the fact that as district commanders, if the post commanders don't know you, and they've got a question, who are they going to call? They're going to call the department. That's right. And we cover that. Remember, the difference between a successful organization and one that is not can usually be attributed to leadership. You show me an organization that does well, you not only have good leaders, but you have good people. You usually have baseball teams that do well because they have good managers, but they also have good ones. The point being is they usually don't replace all the players, they usually replace them. So remember that when you're wearing these hats around here, you might All of us have a terminal job except one. Guess what that terminal job is? What job is not terminal in the American Legion?
A member.
Remember the American Legion wearing a blue pin. Just remember those people around you that wear skunk hats, I'm sorry, he calls them white and blue hats. I call them skunk hats because I've been associated with a lot of people wearing those hats that smell like skunks. But, and then white hats and red hats. Guess what? Those are all temporary. Bottom line is I will always have white hair from now on and a blue hat. My turn to say. So don't get big-headed, just remember where you are and where you're going to go back. Questions? Yes, sir.
Carl Cap, Post 17. I'm a retired CV. I did construction support. And one thing they taught me in CVs when I did my projects and stuff was customer service. You put yourself in the customer's place, and when you're doing any of these programs or anything, okay, sell it to them and just think, okay, if I'm the customer, do I want to do this, whatever? You know, just, you know, be in their position, you know, see what they see, you know, you're trying to get the programs across.
Any other questions, comments, input? Thanks for coming. Appreciate all of you.
We need to